It's you. Which one's me? 2? I'm 2. I'm 2. Awesome. Okay. I'm 1. Okay. Welcome to Finance, June 18th. Let's get the show on the road. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dono?
Present.
Mr. Swanson? Present. Mr. Hess? Ms. Polk?
Present.
Mr. Seroy? Ms. Weber? Ms. Parker? Mr. Miller? Present. Mr. Hunter?
Present.
Ms. Foster? Mr. Marion? Mr. Lowy?
Present.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Mr. Long?
Present.
We do have a
I
quorum.
have a quorum. Lovely. I see I have no public comment sheets. Any public comment? Seeing none. I have a motion to approve the May 22nd minutes. First by Lowy, second by Swanson. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Very good. No presentations. So let's move on to the auditor. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee.
Number 3.
Oh, there we go. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Your monthly claims for the month of May are before you. As you can see, the breakdown by fund code is the same that we've always had. Monthly claims and monthly total dollar amounts. I did go through MIP and updated a couple previous months, so we are completely up to date. For the month of May, 659 claims came through the office for a total of $8,836,093.54.
Very good. I have a motion to approve the monthly claims. First by Foster, second by Miller.
Foster.
Okay. Very good. Any discussion? Questions?
Thank you.
We're good. Love it. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dono?
Aye.
Mr. Swanson?
Aye.
Ms.
Present.
Polk?
Aye.
Ms. Weber? Ms. Parker? Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Hunter?
Aye.
Ms. Foster? Mr. Lowy?
Aye.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Carries. Very good. Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, so a
Colton?
couple updates. Question claims this month was 9, year to date 82. A lot of claims like last month had sales tax and incorrect dollar amounts. We do still have 2 that are pending that I believe we will have closed out probably in the next week or so. I do want to give a highlight to our office. For the previous credit card statement, there was quite a bit of sales tax. It's been a growing theme for whatever reason, but we have sent the tax exempt letter back out to certain departments to make sure that they are aware and we get that money back. Off the credit card last month, we were able to identify $347.84 back on the credit card due to that process. So I do want to give a shout out to Sandy for keeping her eye out on that as well. I do want to thank the county board for updating the travel policy. And just so the board members know, we did send out a memo after the full board meeting, letting the departments know about the policy change and giving some highlights and guidance going forward. So again, thank you to the full board for making that ratification. I do want to give a big shout out to the probation department. They've had some people out on conferences, and their department did a fantastic job following the updated policy. So I wanted to give Tom Latham and all of his employees a shout out for that. You heard in the previous meeting, IT, Jason and Adam, they updated the computers in the auditor's office. So I wanted to say thank you to Jason and Adam for that and for their hard work. And lastly, with the centralized purchasing program, I know last month I said that I was going to come back to this committee with a recommendation. We're still waiting on one more vendor to come back with final numbers, but I'm hoping to come back to this committee with information on that next month. So sorry for kicking the can, but it's a little bit out of my control. So those are the updates that I have. If there's any questions.
Yes, Mr. Hunter.
Thank you very much,
You're
Mr. Chairman. Colton, I love this report.
Thank you.
I mean, you can touch it, you can feel it. There's a lot of specificity. Do you interface with our auditor at all now in terms of providing this information as well too?
Say that one more time.
This information that you provide to us when not the auditor, but who takes a look at our books and everything and does a review of all the expenditures.
The outside auditor?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, you're fine. No, mainly the outside auditors getting information from Steve, and if they need a follow-up, finding a claim or whatever, they can reach out to us. But these reports are on our website. It's on social media as well. They can easily access those reports that way too.
I just like this. I mean, it's informative.
And if you want something else on the report, just let me know. I'll gladly include it. Next month we should have a quarterly report being dropped. So you've seen how large those quarterly reports have been. If you want something included in the quarterly report, just let me know.
Anybody else? Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it. Okay, very good. We'll move on to the treasurer's office, and while he is coming up, we have a motion to combine and approve the treasurer's report, the collector's report, and monthly resolutions. First by Lowy, second by Hunter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion carries. Very good.
Good morning. Colton forgot to say something he showed me yesterday was because everything is scanned, he scans everything in. The auditor needs something, all he has to do is type in, find this claim number, and boom, it pops up. So much more efficient than looking through reams of paper. One thing I want to say right off the bat is, and I think this committee and maybe the whole board at some point we need to, I don't know how we address it, but we need to continue to think about it. I have a fluent Spanish speaker at my office. She's temporary for the summer, but the first floor absolutely needs a fluent Spanish speaker at all times. There are some electronic ways around that, but nothing beats someone who can translate. So what I've done with my person is I've given her a stipend per month to make her available to all departments in the building. If they need translating, obviously it's predicated upon text taking, and right now we're sort of busy, but I wanted to bring that up first. And then I wanted to dovetail on Lori's comment about fraud. You know, the fraud that we see, it's interesting because thankfully it's on the jury checks, because those are really the most checks we send out, and the checks are where you see a lot of the fraud, right? They just open them up, use the account number. Thankfully, there's never a lot of money in that account because those checks don't equal a lot of money, but that's where we see a lot. And I don't know if anybody in here understands what positive pay is. Essentially, we send a file to the bank that has every check that we write. And so when the check comes to the bank, if it's not on that file, it doesn't pass the smell test and it gets rejected. So when we send out checks, there's always a file with them saying, here are the checks we wrote and here are the amounts. And we do that probably 95% of our accounts. There's a couple accounts that it's difficult to do it with, but all the big accounts for certain. And I was on the phone with, I don't know if anybody gets a fraud alert on their phone sometimes, say, hey, did you make this purchase, right? So I got one from First American Bank, which is my bank. And of course, you know, I said, no, I didn't make this. And the person called me. And it was from the bank's number. And as I was talking, someone else called me from the bank, same number, and said, oh, I said, I'm on with the fraud department right now. And they're like, okay. I talked to the guy, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, the guy called me back that had let me go and said, hey, I'm looking at your file and there's nothing being updated. That guy's a fraud. So I was being scammed by the exact same number of the bank. It was a spoof number while I was on with the real bank. So then I had to, who's real, right? How do you figure this out? Okay, I'll call you back, right? But he's like, well, look at your text. Look where the short code is. Well, who looks at a short code? You know, it looked just like everything I've ever gotten from him, but it was a scam. And it's just that they're getting better and better and better and better, but we try to stay ahead of it. So collection going great. Interestingly enough, we're 0.2% different than last year at the same time. So we're right. I think we're about 16.7% of total collection. First collection is always bigger than second because some people pay both. And I don't know if you know this, but the levy this year is $13 million higher than it was last year. So we're collecting almost 243 million. And I think right now we're a little bit over 40 million. And so we'll see. Tax due date, first due date is a week from tomorrow, by end of day, the 26th, Thursday. So we'll see a lot of stuff come in over that time. Last thing, I think we talked about this last time, the review cards. So thankfully, people have been reviewing us, and everything has been positive, but not everything. And so when it's not positive, then we. So I'm going to give you an example. So I won't mention her name, even though she said I could. She's from Essex. And she said, customer service, excellent. Quality of experience, excellent. Overall customer experience, great. Message, girl at the desk was wonderful. Paying $53.33 for my home taxes was horrible. Taxes are out of control. You should be ashamed. I don't get anything for all that money. This county and state suck. Okay, so I called her and walked her through some things, and she has some legitimate gripes that I think there's some help possibly for her. With her, she hasn't gotten any really response her assessor hasn't been very responsive to her. So I gave it to Eric, and Eric will reach out to her, being the expert, and see what he can do. So I love it. The feedback's good either way, right? It's good to hear the problems, good to hear the positives. So that continues to go on. I guess I would lastly say Lorena, who is mostly at the front desk, Shakira is my chief, Diane, Sarah, Beth. This is a really crazy time of the year for them. They've been doing incredible work, and I thank them wholeheartedly. And I don't know if anybody really realizes, I only spent 6 months in the old building, which was across the parking lot. But to be able to take a person and walk them 10 feet to the assessor's office is so convenient for them, or to Dan's office if they have redemption. Everything being right there is just incredible. Or going upstairs to Lori's to do some sort of recorder work. So that's been a huge help, and it's great. It's great for our county. I'd entertain any questions.
Yes, Mr. Hunter.
Just a comment on your report with respect to the interpreter. As you well know, the Hispanic population in this county is ever increasing.
Yep.
And I appreciate what you've done in terms of this summer for the intern or whatever. But from a macro perspective, what can we do to address and implement that which you've done recently?
Well, I think we need to talk with Joanne and work with Matt and talk about always making sure that we have someone full-time. And it doesn't have to be on the first floor, but it's certainly more convenient, who's bilingual. And, I think it's worth, and I think we've done this in the past, it's worth paying a stipend to say, okay, not only are you going to work in Dan's office, but you're going to interpret for the building should they need it, right? And it's all predicated upon whether or not there's free time. But it's funny watching a Spanish speaker, so someone who speaks Spanish in their home. When a Spanish person comes to the desk, they already greet them hola. They already can tell they're Spanish. They already know, right? It's just something instinctual, right? And it just puts everybody at ease. And we see Hispanic payments pretty much always on the last 2 days of tax payments. It's just the way it is, and they come in. So yes, it's very, very helpful.
And
very helpful.
You know what we might want to do too in the future. You take a look at what the state does. There's a Spanish-speaking option when they post jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that speaks to the stipend that you're talking about, because there's a special salary, for that skill set. So, yeah, I'd like to hear you guys interface on that and maybe come up with something.
And I don't know, I apologize, I can't tell you because I haven't looked lately, but like on my website, you can just click a button and it'll translate my website into Spanish, which is a pretty easy plugin. But almost everything we do here should be done in both languages.
Muy bien, mi amigo.
So that's my 2 cents.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good
Appreciate
one.
it.
Enjoy your day off tomorrow.
Okay. We'll move on to finance.
Oh, one last thing. I wanted to say that so far this year, we're $382,000 year to date on interest on our sweep account.
It's lovely. Lovely.
Wow. Steve McCarty coming in. Hot. All right, buddy. Take your time.
Everybody wants out of here now.
Good morning, Steve.
Morning.
Okay, let's get into financial reports.
It's fun having Nick around. Yeah, it is. So, good morning.
We'll let that one be for the moment.
Just update. You got the sales tax and income tax and all those regular reports in front of you. Sales taxes had 3 positive months here, so hopefully that trend continues. I don't know if there's anything. Overall, income tax is still favorable in our line. We've talked about the change in use tax going forward. So you see, Sheriff has talked about the change in the bed rental, and then property tax. Everybody's talking about property tax right now. Personal property replacement tax. Yeah, it looks like it's going to reset probably back around the FY 2019, 2020 area from all the ups and downs we've seen through COVID. So we're still watching that one as it resets itself. But so just an update, a few highlights. I don't know if there's any questions of, specifically people, if anybody has any that have to review of it. So.
Well, Steve, I think we're good, so let's move on.
Alrighty. What's that? Cash flow.
Cash flow.
I've opened it up for the entire fiscal year with estimates through the year. So as you can see, June, after a 3 payroll month that we had in May, and then before the distribution, that is usually sometime in July, June will be our lowest cash flow month. So no worries there, just how the flow happens without property tax, and then once property tax hits again going forward. So no issues, just an update and through the rest of the fiscal year for everybody to take a look at. So unless there's any questions on that.
Questions? We're good? Okay.
Good.
Keep rolling.
All right. So we put the FY24 annual comprehensive financial report on. All of you should have received a final copy, as well as the required communications that Carmen mentioned last month. But there were, it seemed like there could be a few questions, so I just wanted to open it up, and also included some of our stat reports that are in the back of that report. I just want to acknowledge all the departments for their help and assistance, and to give you an example of things that they provide us by pulling some of the reports out, for you. Especially mention Dan in the county clerk's office. They do 4 of the reports, just thought, so some interesting facts of what happens within each department and the area, and actually put a number to things, as well as like the trends of employee trends in various functions of our government. You got also employee trends, employment trends for countywide, and the businesses, and rankings and stuff from 2024 and 10 years ago. And then the top 10 taxpayers, appreciate Eric producing this one for us. It's interesting and to see how much things change in 10 years from a property tax perspective and values. And then the final graph that I showed, just wanted to end with FY24 and show where our story has been and where we're at right now with fund balance as far as general fund, and that graph represents $13.6 million is where we ended FY24 for fund balance in the general fund. So it's very healthy, positive, but we continue to show this graph to show, you know, that we never forget the story and the adventure that we've been through here over the last number of years, as far as the ebbs and the flows. So we're definitely in a better shape for, you know, any downtrend that we may see compared to what we had to endure, you know, when downtrends, you know, when it came in previous time frames. So I just wanted to put that in perspective and, you know, answer any questions. And I'm also just to say, you know, we're available to answer any questions if you have any, if you have not had a chance to read that. You know, I'm always available, you know, to please reach out. And I also not only want to thank the departments, I want to thank Chris and Lisa specifically for all their work on getting this report finalized. SKDO has been great to work with as well, in getting everything completed. So, but I'll open up for any questions as well. So.
Questions, comments? We're all good? Okay, I think we're all in the same boat right now. We know what we want to get done, so very good. Steve, thank you very much.
All right, okay, that's it.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Do I have a motion to combine and approve finance department's reports? First by Lowy, second by Hunter. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Thanks, Steve. Okay, I don't see any new business. Is there any new business? Nope. There is definitely no old business. Okay. I have a motion to adjourn. First by Lowy, second by Parker. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Motion carries.